So in preparation for Venom 3, The Last Dance, I will be reviewing Venom 1 and 2, but instead of it being two different videos, I'm gonna review both of them in the same video. So let's review Venom. So the beginning of Venom has us following the symbiote as it goes down to Earth, and I thought this was a very cool scene, just like figuring out Venom's origin on how he got down to Earth. I thought that was really cool and well done. One of the things I really enjoyed about the movie is the portrayal of Riot, and his actor did amazing, honestly. You know, I haven't really saw this guy around in really anything, and I've seen a lot of movies, and I've barely even seen him anywhere. But he's a pretty damn good actor, especially in this movie. He plays a perfect villain, you know, especially when he gets the symbiote in the end, and he's like this villain. It is awesome. They wrote his character and executed it very well. And also another thing I really enjoyed about this movie is the beginning scene, where like the symbiote is taking over a medic, and that person got hurt, and the symbiote just like heals them, you know, after like the crash. You know, there's like an ambulance crash, and the guy's kneecap is out. It's actually pretty damn gory for a Sony movie, but yeah, the symbiote heals it, and we just have this medic roaming around the city, which very chilling opening for the symbiote. So the next thing I really enjoy about this movie is the portrayal of Eddie Brock. Tom Hardy does amazing. Now, fun fact, he actually played Bane in The Dark Knight, which for the longest time I actually did not know, because he was just so unrecognizable because of the shaved head and like the big mask he had on, you know, but he plays Eddie Brock perfectly, and his interactions with Venom throughout the movie are just so funny and honestly make the movie so great. And another scene that I thought was crazy is how like Eddie is like now going at it with freaking Riot, you know, like trying to expose him for doing certain things within the lab, and freaking Eddie Brock like gets canceled and freaking loses his job, and his girlfriend divorces him, his wife, like gives him back the wedding ring and everything. Like, what a bummer. And that scene was pretty crazy. So now getting back on the symbiote's side of things, the paramedic is just walking through this, you know, alleyway of shops and everything, and then gives the lady, like passes the lady the symbiote. And that's kind of cool how you just freaking touch somebody and the symbiote just like glues to them. It's like a virus. So that's kind of cool. So now I want to talk about the gas station scene, because this is the first time it happened. Like, the cashier gets robbed and Eddie doesn't do anything about it. Now, the reason I'm really mentioning this scene, despite nothing major really happening, is because it happens again at the end of the movie, this time with Venom. And we all know how that ends, but that's why I really mention this scene, because it's very important, because, like, all things considered, what happens at the end of the movie in the gas station or the convenience store. But it really seems like this old lady gets robbed, like, every single day. Like, Eddie was just, like, walking around hiding all casually, like it happens, like, all the time, which was very funny. So then Eddie gets back to his apartment to see his neighbor making out with a girl, and then when he goes inside, the a-hole neighbor starts freaking blasting loud rock and roll music, and Eddie's just forced to sit there in the annoyance of the terrible song that's playing in the background. So that's an interesting scene. So then we get to cut back to see what our antagonist of the movie is doing, and he's running test subjects for another symbiote that clings onto this guy and freaking like kills him, which is a freaking savage scene. And the antagonist is just smiling. He's sitting there smiling like, oh my god, it's working. Nobody cares, Riot! Freaking save the guy's life, evil idiot. But yeah, that was a pretty damn disturbing scene to see that guy get tortured and die. Another character I also found enjoyment in is Dr. Dora. She's like, you could tell she's a very outgoing and caring person, because she does not want this antagonist to really get what he's been longing for, like a new symbiote, a new Venom variant, you know, and she's a real hero in this movie, and it is very unfortunate when her character dies due to the villain symbiote. There's a scene with Eddie Brock in the lab, and I thought that scene was very well done and well executed, like him finding the symbiote and a bunch of test subjects aka people. Very disturbing scene how, like, this antagonist keeps all these people, locked up. It's terrible, honestly. Also, another cool thing about that scene is the symbiote, Venom, clinged to Eddie Brock. And all of a sudden, Eddie is going crazy, like trying to find food and then eating from the garbage because Venom's so hungry. And then he pukes in his nasty bathroom. Like, boy, do you ever clean this bathroom? Seriously? Like, I know it's like, you shouldn't care that much because, like, you poop and do your other business in there. But, like, at least clean the bathroom once in a while. Freaking probably you look to your left, a dead cockroach. You look to your right, some mold. Like, damn, bro. Clean your bathroom. So I consider this next scene kind of funny. So Eddie Brock with this new symbiote in him, like, freaking runs down to the restaurant to go talk to his ex, and it turns out she's dating a doctor, and it's at this fancy restaurant with lobsters, and he freaking, like, tries to eat their food, tries to eat other random people's food, tries to eat raw lobster. Well, he does eat raw lobster after freaking putting himself in the tank where they store the lobsters. Then Eddie gets an MRI, and turns out Venom hates MRIs, so there's a whole freaking glitch out, and that's a crazy scene. Definitely something. And yeah, that's the end of the scene. Then one of my favorite scenes of the movie occurs when the antagonist's guards or henchmen go to Eddie's house, and there's a huge fight between Eddie using the symbiotes to fight off these guys, which is honestly one of the best scenes of the movie. I am very satisfied that we got, like, a little fight with Venom slightly jumping in to help Eddie, and then we get this awesome mirror shot of, like, Eddie looking at a car door mirror and Venom reflecting, and this is the first time we get to see Venom in this movie, and wow, honestly, whatever they used for Venom in these 3 movies, it makes for a great look for Venom. It is 10 times better than the way they made Venom look in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3. It's definitely the best we've ever seen Venom, honestly. So now I want to mention the car chase. The car chase with Eddie Brock using a motorcycle and the other guys using cars, and then after, like, a collage and him getting stuck, Venom takes over and freaking, like, licks the guy's face with his big ass tongue, which hilarious. And honestly, I just cannot get enough seeing Venom in this movie, man. They did him so well. And then after this, we get to see them under a bridge after Venom just jumps off in a bridge, and we get to see their first interaction together. And honestly, this scene is amazing. They're making Venom look so good. Like, the teeth, the eyes, the design is just so perfect. Honestly, one of the best things about this franchise is the look that they gave Venom. Another small thing that I really enjoyed was when Venom climbed up the building and is just overlooking the city. Honestly, makes for a beautiful shot until a helicopter rudely interrupts them and Venom goes away, and that leaves Eddie Brock to slide down the building, and he almost dies. And then he crashes through a window and just takes the elevator down, leading to this awesome fight scene between Venom and a bunch of officers, which is freaking awesome to see. Then his ex catches Venom fighting all these guys and, like, is afraid. And then Eddie transforms back to his normal self and goes in car with her, and she wants to know everything that's going on. And then we get to see this interaction between our antagonist and this random little girl. I don't even know why I mentioned that. That was, like, the most dumbest and randomest thing that ever happened in this franchise. Then we get to see the symbiote loose out of Eddie Brock, and then it goes to this dog while Eddie gets kidnapped and interrogated rudely by our antagonist. And then the new symbiote that we were talking about earlier in the review shows itself, and damn, that is some disturbing crap right there. Like, he's actually looking pretty frightening there, and now that we have our full antagonist ready to fight our protagonist, we get to see Venom out and about again, and then the villain Venom. And this villain Venom, like the antagonist Venom, has these awesome claws connected to his skin, so now he has, like, built-in weapons and knives, like freaking Sabretooth all over again. Anyway, yeah, he is very disturbing, and it is clearly a major threat for Venom. And then we get to see this awesome scene, which ends with when our antagonist and the symbiote get disintegrated and destroyed in this big explosion. And then we get an all nice happy ending, and then we get, of course, the grocery store scene, or the shop scene where Venom eats the robber's head. When the guy comes to rob the store, Venom eats his head. And yeah, happy ending, right? Right? And then the post-credit scene sets us up for a sequel by introducing Woody Harrelson to the mix. And he plays Carnage. Bum, bum, bum! Alright, well, yeah, that's where the movie ends. Great movie overall. I don't really understand how people could really hate this movie. I mean, obviously, of course, no movie is really ever perfect, but this movie really respected Venom and did it right, unlike Sam Raimi in the Spider-Man trilogy. You know, he was done right. So overall, I'm giving this movie an 8 out of 10. Not perfect, but I enjoyed quite a lot of things about this movie. But with that review out of the way, let's review Venom Let There Be Carnage. So the immediate start of Venom 2 Let There Be Carnage is immediately introducing us to Carnage's girlfriend that he goes on to freaking religiously make out with. Like, he can't stop. And honestly, her role in the movie is alright. I find her character very unnecessary besides a motive for Carnage, but nothing too major. Then, of course, we get to see the man himself, Carnage. We don't get to see much of him at first, but he's just a little mentally deranged, and he just does a smile, and then we get to see an awesome title card for the movie. So another thing I really like about this movie is the interaction between Eddie Brock and Carnage. It's a very, very well done scene. And while this is all going on, we get introduced to this officer who locked up Carnage's girlfriend and took her eye out, which will come back to haunt him because at the end of the movie, the lady takes his eye out and replaces her eye and switches it. So, like an eye for an eye, basically. And we get to see Venom yet again on a roof of some sort. And damn, bro. Remember earlier in the video when I was mentioning how beautiful they made freaking Venom look? The cinematography, the way that the CGI works on Venom? It is great. It is so smooth and perfect in this movie. Honestly. I didn't think they could top it, and then they did. Honestly, great stuff. So now I want to talk a little bit about the character of Carnage, played by Woody Harrelson. Carnage is amazing in this movie. He's a great villain, and 10 times better than the villain we had in the first movie, because he is 10 times more dangerous, 10 times more stronger than Venom, and also the design for the symbiote is freaking amazing, man. They do so well in these two movies, the designs for the symbiotes. It's amazing. But yeah, Woody Harrelson really does an amazing job playing Carnage, and his character, Cletus, who gets taken over by the symbiote. Yeah, you already know the process. But yeah, Woody Harrelson does an amazing job in the role, and honestly, I can't imagine anybody doing better. And honestly, his backstory is like pushing his wheelchaired grandmother down the stairs, killing her, and throwing a toaster oven into the shower while his mom was in there. Isn't that like psychopathic, bro? That's crazy. Honestly, disturbing backstory for this awesome villain. Now I want to talk about the awesome alleyway scene. So remembering what I was talking about earlier on how Venom was like on top of the building, he climbs down after a lady is getting like robbed by this guy, and we get to see Venom in action and freaking eat this guy. He ate him. He got a little hungry. Yeah, he was very hungry. So, haha, just kidding. April Fools. Or should I call it October Fools? He throws the guy in a garbage can. Honestly, why would I want to smell like garbage can? At least eat me so I don't need to stink. Like, damn. So that scene was kind of cool. The next scene is really funny when, like, Venom is helping Eddie, like, cook a bunch of things, pour some orange juice in a cup, make some cereal. It's a very freaking funny scene. So then we get to see another interaction between Carnage and Eddie Brock. Well, the eventual host of Carnage, and this time, the guy bites him. Like, boy, you're in jail for freaking murder. Why are you assaulting people? Do you want to stay in for another 50 years? Like, damn. So, yeah, he bites him and gets his blood and a little bit of venom. So that's how Carnage now exists. So then later that day, there's a fight between Venom and Eddie, like an argument, and after Venom beats him up a bit, he leaves and takes over a new person and walks away, leading to all this party stuff that is funny between like Venom being at like a club, telling jokes, people respecting him. It's a very funny scene, you know, that happens later on in the movie. But before that happens, we get to see one of the best scenes of this movie, the prison break with Carnage. We get to see him in his full place, you know, like the host of Carnage is getting put to death, and instead of dying, he like transforms and then kills all the guards so brutally. And honestly, the look for Venom's adversary in this movie, Carnage, is so perfect. honestly the best. The best villain in this franchise, man. And then this tornado thing that he does, killing everybody, you know, like, it's freaking crazy. I love it. It's badass as hell. And then he escapes. So then another crazy scene that happens in this movie is when Carnage goes to bust out his girlfriend and kills everybody in there. But before that, he goes and freaking robs a bank. Or robs a convenience store. And yeah, that's a very crazy scene. Of course, they make out and drive away in this awesome red car. And then we get to see Venom do some very bad things in the symbiote. Then a bunch of police investigate everything and keep investigating, and then tell Eddie Brock about all this. And yeah, it's very crazy stuff. Don't worry. For the final battle, Venom does come back and help Eddie. But I'm not going to mention how, because if you guys have seen the movie, you know. So now I want to talk about the best part about this movie, the final battle. The battle between Venom and Carnage. Now this battle, man, is badass. Probably one of the best fights, like 1v1s ever. And Carnage's girlfriend has like this screaming ability that really annoys Venom and Carnage, so Carnage freaking knocks her out, and the host gets pissed and tries to hold his humanity for her. But he doesn't, and he fights Venom, leading to one of the best 1v1s in the entire Marvel universe, man. It is just so well done, this entire fight. Like, especially the ending of the fight where Venom takes the host out of Carnage, eats him, then eats the freaking symbiote. It's awesome, this entire final battle, man. Like, I heavily enjoyed the battle between Carnage and Venom. Both actors did amazing, and yeah, that's really all I have to say about this movie. Now, it's time to do the outro. Honestly, this movie is definitely a 10 out of 10. I loved it way more than I loved the original one, and the villain is 10 times better this time around. I really, really enjoyed seeing the movie adaptation of Carnage for the first time. So yeah, 10 out of 10 movie. Really, really enjoyed it. So that's really all I have to say about this movie. In other news, vote! Vote, vote, vote! If you check my community, I'm holding a suggestion bar where you can decide what movie you want to see reviewed. Anything. What I'm doing is taking suggestions from you guys, the people who watch my videos. I'm taking all suggestions. If you want a movie to be reviewed, like if you are scrolling on the internet and wondering, why has my favorite movie not been reviewed yet? Then tell me what your favorite movie is and I will review it. So yeah, without further ado, if you haven't done that, do that. If you like this video, like, subscribe, and be a member of this channel. So with all that being said, just vote! I really need suggestions for other videos. So please, please, please go under community and tell me the movie you want to be reviewed. That you want reviewed. And I promise you, as long as it's not a musical. As long as it's not a musical, I'm joking. Comment any movie that you want me to review, and I will review it. Because I like to entertain you guys. But that's all I have to say for this video. If you like the video, like, subscribe, comment, do everything. Bye, guys.